I'd like to introduce the former fire chief and two-term mayor, Milton Potter.
Good morning. I want to thank everyone for coming out on this damp and dreary morning to hear maybe what's going on in our city. I want to thank the Latin Law Firm for sponsoring this event, and Roy Lott and his employees for the use of their facility here. It's a great setup. I want to thank the students from Nelson and Brownwood who are here this morning. I'll do anything to get out of school. But as being part of the Leader in Me program in our city schools, it is a tremendous program. Mr. Hancock and Mr. Spears are being commended for implementing this program in their schools. It's a program that makes a tremendous difference in their schools and in the lives of their young people as they turn into adults, and so we appreciate it. It's very difficult for me to come and try to say things that I think would be interesting to each of you all. I'd probably rather just sit up here and take questions for 30 minutes, but we'll have time for questions at the end. But we're going to give it a shot and try to update you on some things that's been going on in our city. I want to thank you, first of all, for allowing me to serve as mayor in the city of Scottsboro. It is a job that I take seriously, and it is a job that I enjoy. There's never a dull moment. You never know one day or one moment from the next what you're going to encounter. It could be complaints about the temperature of the water in the pool at the Redcon to standing here at 7:30 in the morning and trying to think of things to say. But I want to give you a brief overview of some of the past projects and some of the things we have in the future. But the first thing I got to do is eat just a little bit of crow. Last year I stood up here and told you that this past summer, there would be a hotel construction started in Goose Pond. As you all know, that didn't have to like too long. And as you all know, it didn't. But when I stood here and told you that, I really believed it in my heart because that's what the developer had told us. And it hasn't worked out, and it hasn't worked out because the developer was not able to obtain the funding that he needed to do that project down there. We had worked with this developer for about 3 years, and he had given us some assurances that things would happen. And long story short, we were dealing exclusively with him. We were not talking to anyone else. And so we gave him a time frame of September the 1st to come up with the funding, and if he didn't, we were moving on. So now we're working with other developers. There's two different ones. One's already had a site visit to Goose Pond, and another one is planned hopefully this month. So that project is ongoing. We're still trying to recruit the hotel down there, and you won't hear another word about a hotel at Goose Pond until the day of the groundbreaking. My hope is that the hotel at Goose Pond gets finished before the Bellefonte nuclear plant does. Unfortunately, that shouldn't be fun, but it is. Last year, we talked about a lot of road projects we have going on, or we hope to have going on in the city for this past coming year. One of them did get started, the service road on Highway 72. It started in May. The completion date looks to be is scheduled completion in May of this coming year, but it very well could happen, be completed by March. They are ahead of schedule and have done a great job down there. I also talked about the 3 A-Trail projects that we have, where we got grant funding from the state. We got $6.7 million total worth of projects that are going on in 3 different projects, and the city's part of that is $1.3 million. It's a 80-20 grant. The first project, Porter Road in Woods Cove, from Highway 72 to the 4-way stop at Parks Avenue, consists of resurfacing the road, culvert extensions. The plans are complete and they have been submitted to ALDOT, which is a huge step. The project is scheduled to be bid March the 27th, and construction is estimated to begin in August and could take up to 9 months. So that's a project that we're happy to see finally getting close to being bid. That's a big step. Our plans are also to pay Cedar Hill Drive and Woods Cove Road, or Parks Avenue, at the completion of that project. The second project was Ridgedale Road from Tupelo Pike to West Willow Street. The plans are about 60% complete. The bid date looks like it's going to be in October. Construction time about 6 months. There's a bridge on the Willow Street, the Willow Street side that has to be completed first, and then the road work will begin. One reason this project's been delayed a little bit is because we submitted for a second bridge on the Tupelo Pike side to be replaced, and we had to resubmit it to the state. The third project is Clemens Road from Highway 35 to Sportsman Landing. Drainage work, culvert work, and widening the road. The plans are about 70% complete, and the bid date is scheduled to be in September, with construction after the first of next year. Now, I hope this time next year I'm standing here and those projects have already started. I know many of you who live in these areas hope so too. And our plans are to pave Campground Circle after that project is completed. And again, all these dates are tentative and dependent upon ALDOT and their time frame. I'm certainly disappointed that it's taken so long on some of these projects, but it's out of our hands and we're doing everything we can to push completion up. I'm very thankful for the A-Trip, because without the A-Trip money, this 80/20 grant, we would not be able to do these projects. So as I said, we're getting $6.6 million worth of road work for $1.3 million. Coming up in March, another project that we're going to have going on is repairing the bridge in West Pond Colony on Hickory Drive. There's some work that needs to be done there. Roy and his group just finished some utility work down there, and there's some work that's got to be done to the bridge. It won't be closed completely, but it'll be down to one lane at different times. And it should only take a couple of weeks to make those repairs. Last year I talked about a dog park, and that's something that's coming true. The council generously approved the funding for a dog park to be located by the bottom softball complex. It consists of two areas fenced in, one 60 foot by 60 foot by 250 feet. And the other one 65 feet by 300. They're two different areas, one for larger dogs and one for smaller dogs. What we're waiting on, the only thing we're waiting on to start that construction is some warm weather, because we've got to pour some concrete, and we don't want to do that during the cold weather. Then we'll do the fenced-in areas. The concrete being poured is for the benches and pavilions that will be built down there. I think it's something that will be very, very popular. I hope so. I want to talk just a little bit about our animal shelter. In 2012, our animal shelter adopted 67 animals. In 2013, there were 250 animals. This is dogs and cats both that were adopted. Well, last year we hired an employee down there, an extra employee, their main sole responsibility was to see that animals are being adopted. And in 2014, the year that we just finished, we had 844 animals that were adopted. So that's a tremendous increase and something I think we should be proud of. A number that we're not so proud of, that back in 2011, our euthanasia rate for all the animals down there was about 80%. And that's way too high. But last year, 2014, that number was down to 35%. So we are making progress of getting animals adopted, and I appreciate the work that department is doing, the Animal Control Department. Back in the summer, we added another floating dock down at the Mead Creek Boat Ramp. The state has it on their agenda to come in and do more repairs to the boat ramp and add parking spots down there, similar to what they did in City Park a few years ago. And that will be in the next year after October. Last year we made a tremendous emphasis on sidewalk repair in the city of Scottsboro. We started on Market Street, and we've just about got all those completed, and then we're going to look to complete Scott Street. Those sidewalks were built in the 40s and 50s, from what I understand, and so they are in need of repair, and we're going through and hitting all the worst spots and repairing those, and so we continue to work hard on that. One other area that we've made some progress on is that we have put emphasis on old dilapidated buildings. Our abatement board has worked with our code enforcement officer, the police department, and last year we had 13 structures that were demolished. That's a lot, compared to where we started. And currently there are 3 more in the process of being torn down, and the plans are to remove 2 more in the next few weeks. And so Daniel Pierce works with the owners of these buildings to try to get them taken down, and I appreciate his work in that. 2014 could be talked about as the year of grants in the city of Scottsboro. We received a total of $2,143,609 in grant money this past year. The first grant was an $800,000 ALDOT grant for that downtown redevelopment to remodel our downtown area around the square. It was time for a facelift. It was in the mid-'70s when the last time it was updated. This will not be the storefronts themselves. It will be the sidewalk from the storefront to the curb, the sidewalks around the courthouse, and the dividers between the inside and the outside of the square. We formed a steering committee that was to get their input of business owners around the square. I'm going to call this committee's name so you can call them if you have questions. Roy Light, David Nicholas, Steve Kinnemer, Deborah Light, Rick Roden, Matthew Hodges, Arlene Greed, our city engineer Josh Little, and CDG Engineer is the firm that's handling that, and then myself. This group represents business owners around the square, the utility department, because Roy has a lot of water, sewer, and the gas lines around the area, government officials, and then of course the tree commission with Ms. Greed. They were tasked to gather ideas and set a direction of what this project will look like and discuss the problems that might arise during the construction. But this also was a unique opportunity for the city and county to work together. The grant, which was administered through the Alabama Department of Transportation, is for $500,000 total. The state puts up $400,000, the city would put up $100,000. Well, we found out that each government entity could apply, so the city applied, and then Matthew Hodges and the county commission applied also. We were hoping that one of us would get a grant, and it worked out that both of us got a grant. So that's where the $800,000 came from. So $800,000 from the state, $100,000 from the city, and $100,000 from the county, and we appreciate the county commission partnering with us on this. The time frame for this project, we are going to have a meeting in February to look at the plans that are 30% complete. Once the plans are completed later on in the summer, they have to be sent to ALDOT for approval, and that can take up to 6 months. So this is a long-term project that we're looking at. As we talk today, it looks like it'll be March of next year before the project is bid, with construction to begin in the summer of next year, and the project is estimated to take about 9 months to complete. So this is an ongoing thing, but the plan is to do one side of the square at a time, so we do not impact all the businesses around the square at the same time. Each year, the Chamber of Commerce sponsors a trip to Washington, D.C. and Montgomery. And we just don't go up there for the heck of it. It's a go up one day, come back the next day, meet with all of our, both Senator Shelby and Sessions and Congressman Brooks, and talk about the needs that we have in our county. And a couple of years ago, we were up there, and Rudder Williams, who was chairman of the Airport Advisory Board, mentioned that we were in need of having our runway repaved or an overlay. And it was within just a few weeks we received a phone call that we had been awarded an $800,000 grant from the Federal Aviation. If you didn't say that, he was born. But we do appreciate the help from the senators. Rudder didn't do it by himself. From Senator Sessions and Shelby, Congressman Brooks' office. There's a much needed project, and that's just one example out of many of where those trips have really paid off for our area. Another grant that we received was from the Alabama Department of Environmental Management for $150,000. This money will be used to install a walking trail around the soccer fields that we have down the Bynum Complex. It'll be about a 3/4 mile trail. This is a 100% grant that we did not have to do any matching with that. And what it is, it's an environmental grant where the tires that are recycled are shredded, and then that's the surface that you walk on. So we were very happy to be able to get that. So for keeping score, that means we got $1.9 million of grant money, of which the city and the county together are paying $240,000. So that's a pretty good return, I think. We've been very successful in these grants. All of our department head works hard on them, and Josh Little, our city engineer, along with their engineering firms that we hire from time to time, of getting this grant money. So when you add all the A-Trip money from last year, all the grant money from this year, the total cost of all these projects is $10,254,000. It's costing us combined of $1,518,000. So for every dollar that we spend on these projects, we'll receive $6.75 back. And that's a pretty good return, and we'll take that deal all day long. And but the big thing is, without this grant money, we would not be able to do these projects. We'll be meeting in the next few weeks with TVA concerning the nature walking trail from the barge loading facility on 35 down to Sportsman Landing and back. It will be a nature trail that goes along the ridge all the way to Sportsman Landing and come back along the shoreline. We've been talking to TVA about it, and they want to be a big partner in this and at little or no cost to the city and the county. I like the no cost better than little, but we'll work on that later. Speaking of TVA, the city of Scottsboro recently received a TVA Sustainability Award in recognition of our efforts to conserve our natural resources. They looked at our recycling program, our methane gas collection system, the energy savings program that the Scottsboro City School System recently completed, and other areas. Dutch Rogers, Sheila and Maryland's at the EDA spearheaded this effort in applying for this recognition and worked very hard on it. This is the second year that TVA has given this award, and each year they've recognized 12 cities. There are only 3 cities in Alabama that has received this award, and there's 3 different levels: silver, gold, and platinum. And Scottsboro received the gold award along with Huntsville and Florence, who also got the gold award. For us to be able to receive the same award as those 2 larger cities, I think speaks well about our commitment to the environment here. Speaking of TVA, the in-service training center is doing well, but we continue to see a decrease in our TVA in lieu of tax. For the city, it was $106,000 this year alone. And I believe, Matthew, where you, overall the county is down $3 million over 3 or 4 years?
2.4.
2.4 million over 3 years. So that continues to go down for us and presents a problem. But coupled with that, the loss of jobs with the gradual shutdown of Woods Creek steam plant has hit our county very hard. And we continue to talk to the TVA management and the TVA board chairman, Joe Rich of Huntsville, about the concerns of TVA's impact on our county. We want it to be a positive impact and not a negative. Monday night, I asked the City Council to consider 3 new positions which they approved in our departments. We're going to combine the street and sanitation to make a public works director, 1 position. We're going to create a vehicle maintenance director to make our garage a separate department from the street department. And we're going to create a IT manager's position. Years ago, the street and solid waste were combined, and by combining this department head position, we'll save about $90,000 a year in salary and benefits. The salary that we save will allow us to fund this IT manager's position. We currently do not have anyone on staff to do this work. They will be in charge of setting up our website, maintaining it, setting up computers, troubleshooting, any number of things that computers present with problems. They will also work with their cell phones and radios. In the past, what we've done, that we just get somebody inside to look at it and figure it out, and then we wind up having to pay somebody to come and do it. So that's a lesson that I learned a long time ago. Right after I first got married, I tried to figure it out. The guy said, "Look, just call me. Don't try to." So that's what we want to do. And by making the vehicle maintenance department a separate department from the street department, it takes away. In the past, we've heard a lot of things about there's favoritism to the street department. They get their stuff done earlier or quicker than anybody else. This person will answer directly to me, and so we'll take that favoritism out of it. We hope it will run more efficiently. It will help us with our parts maintenance, or parts inventory, and we want to put in a preventative maintenance program as part of this. So I think all 3 of these will be good changes that we've made. I want to talk just a little bit about recruitment in industrial and retail recruitment. Industrial recruitment is done every day in our county. The public doesn't always see the results or the benefits or the job that's going on behind the scenes, but Dustin and his staff at the EDA stay very busy of putting out a request for proposals for different projects. I think he's told me in the last 3 or 4 weeks they've had 4 or 5 different proposals that they've sent out. But every city, county, and state in the United States is after the same thing that we are, and that's to bring more jobs to our community. And it's really an effort that is put forth by many groups and many individuals, and it doesn't start just here in Jackson County. It begins on a whole lot higher level. The process initially would start with a site consultant who's been approached by an industry to say, I need so many acres of land to bring my industry. And so there's a lot of work that's done on these requests for proposals. They're looking at your infrastructure, the acreage, access to rail and water and highway. And the state has a database where they've compiled all these sites, and then they look and they try to marry what the site consultant's looking for about what's available. Site visits are held, meetings are held, and then relationships are built. And they're looking for reasons to remove you from the league, whatever that reason might be. And so we work very hard to put on the good air of Scottsboro and Jackson County. But again, they're looking for reasons to remove you. And Ms. Duff, you want to make sure I have one? All right. Thank you, Ms. Duff. Again, they're looking for reasons to get rid of us. And, you know, I've heard horror stories that they come on a site visit and the CEO don't like the color of the tie that the mayor's got, so they cut them off. So, you know, who knows what you're up against, but that is kind of an exaggeration. But you know, it is worked hard every day. And just to say something about retail recruitment, last year we thought we had a chain restaurant that was very, well, we've done everything we could from our standpoint to get this chain restaurant located here, and we thought they were coming. Well, there's one important piece that we could not control, and that was the property. The property owner really didn't want to sell, and the price is so high that they never came back and looked at us. So there's many things we can control, there's many things that we can't control. This coming year, we'll have another bridge replacement probably on Parks Avenue. I don't know if you all have noticed that there is a weight limit restriction on the Parks Avenue Bridge at South Houston Street. The state imposed that a year or so ago. We've made plans to try to get that bridge replaced. It's estimated cost of $1 million. That's for construction and also for utility relocation. We hope to start the construction in mid to late summer, and estimated that will take a couple of weeks to complete. In December, we faced another loss with Kmart closing down. I think it's the middle of December. And so we certainly hope that that building doesn't stay empty like the old Food World building next to them did. So, but I do have some good news. So I'm going on a limb in here, but I said I wouldn't do it. But we've actually been in discussion with a developer who has a contract on that building, and we think it will be remodeled and subdivided in 4 or 5 stores, and that we would see construction on that pretty soon. And this one I feel pretty confident about because I've talked to them. But that's good news that building is not going to stay vacant. So I've rushed through that. We're kind of getting close to the end here, so bear with me. But I do want to recognize some people. Again, I always want to start with my family. My mother is here, my wife, Kathy. My brother has finally made it. Bradley, it's good to have him here, my aunt, my uncle Charles, and Loretta. And so I appreciate them being here this morning. I want to talk just a minute about loss that we experienced at City Hall here just over the weekend. My secretary, Debbie Taylor, who worked with the city for 18 years, passed away Saturday. And she had been battling cancer since October. And Debbie was very important to me and to the whole City Hall family. And she got me where I was supposed to be, when I was supposed to be, told me where to go a lot of times. But you know Debbie, but she certainly had my back, and she was very loyal and trustworthy to me, and that's something I appreciated. And we had her funeral yesterday, and we're certainly going to miss her. And I just wanted to not let that go by without mentioning that. The city is only as good as the people who serve it, and we never need to lose sight of that we work for the citizens. We're public service first and foremost, and we provide our services every day for you. And that starts with our employees who work day in and day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 364 days a year. But these employees do a great job every day without very much recognition. So I want to thank them for what they do out there every day in weather such as you see, or whether it's a 95 or 100 degrees, and I appreciate that. These employees are served by the department heads. who were here to see that their departments function at a high level and meet the needs and have the necessary tools to get the job done. I told them I wasn't going to introduce them, so I won't, but several of them are here today. I did want to single out one. We have one new department head since we were here last year, and that is, I'll make you stand, Gene Nicholas, our fire chief. He's coming up on the motion. But all of this couldn't be possible without the help of a group of individuals, Scottsboro City Council, and I appreciate them and the job that they've done and for making the things and the ideas that we have possible. Gary Stewart is here. Tony Wallingsworth is somewhere, or okay, there he is. Is any of the others here? And then Carol McQuarrie, one of our former, there she is, city councilman. Appreciate her coming and being here with us today. But I do appreciate the relationship that we have. We work very well together. We don't always agree, which we're not supposed to. If we did, then only one of us would be necessary. So I do appreciate the job that they do and for giving of their time and their efforts to serve Scottsboro. There are other groups and individuals that work hand in hand with us on a daily basis, and that's Roy Light and his members of the Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas, and I saw Jimmy here somewhere saying earlier, he may have left his breakfast in there. But anyway, I appreciate the members of the Scottsboro Electric Power Board also. But there are many others, Commissioner Hodges and the Jackson County Commission, Stacy Ledwell's here. Was any of the others? I think that was all. Stacy needed breakfast and not the others. But we do appreciate the relationship, and you've heard of two instances here. And let me just go back and talk just a second about that airport grant. The other thing that I didn't say, that's a 90% grant, and so the city has 5% matching, and the state has 5% matching from the Department of Transportation. We received notice that the state was not going to be able to meet their match, and so that really disappointed us. We approached the county commission, and they stepped up and they realized the importance of the airport and to economic development and the importance to our community, and so they stepped up and took up that other 5% match. And so there's two different areas there that we've worked together to make things better here for our county, and we appreciate that, Mr. Hodges. Rick has given me a list of a lot of people here, so I'm going to try to start, but I do want to start here with, again, thanking Congressman Brooks' office and Senator Shelby and Senator Sessions, Tiffany Noel and Kathy Murray are here with Congressman Brooks' office, Harry Suggs with Senator Shelby's office, and we appreciate you all being here with us and for the help that y'all give us. They are continuously writing letters of recommendation for grants, and so they're a big part of all everything that I talked about. Steve Helms, the mayor of Woodville, is here. It's good to have you here, Steve. Thanks for coming. Dust Rogers and Sheila Shepard and Marilyn Lotta of the Jackson County EDA. We work with them every week, sometimes on a daily basis, and we thank them. Richard Ward of the Hollywood City Council, he was here earlier. He's hiding, okay. Appreciate you coming. And Barry Hughes, who is always here. I saw him, there he is in the middle. Thank you for coming, Barry. And Kathy Mitchell, the Executive Director of Impact, I thank you for coming. There's one person I know I missed, but have I missed anybody else, you think? All right, after I introduce this next person, I'll ask if I missed anybody else. But I do want to extend a special welcome to our new city school superintendent, Dr. Sandra Spivey, who's right back here. It's great to have her on board. She's been on the job a week and a half and got everything figured out. She's just kicked back, taking it easy. I know she has a busy schedule, and it means a lot for you to be here this morning, take time out. We wish you the best of luck in your career. A lot of you may not know, and I didn't know this until the process, but she's originally from Scottsboro, so it's good to have a local lady come back and lead our school system. Now, have I missed anybody else? Nobody's going to admit it. Okay. Questions? Not quick. Any questions? Good. Thank you very much. Yes, those plans saw Matt here, okay. Well, we have 30% plans at this next meeting. She asked about the square. Sure. I'll contact you when this meeting, I think it's the 16th at 1 o'clock at City Hall, so if y'all want to send somebody over, you can do that, yeah. Ms. Reed is on it, but yeah, we'd be glad to have somebody from the beautification to be part of it. Thank you. All right, thanks.